Well, guys, it's great to be here. Man, it's a good introduction, right? So also I wanted to say, yes, I'm one of the founders, but I also have my partner in crime with me, Ido Zucker in the back. So he's also one of the founders. He's just here to make sure I say everything correct and keep an eye on me, and he's also good for answering questions. So keeps an eye on me. So really excited to be here, guys. Over the years, I've had a chance to travel out here numerous times to present to you guys. I remember when I was first here when we launched the original website, we were in the big cinema and the theater. So it's good to be here. The goals for what I want to do today is to walk you guys through our new mobile app. We're really excited. We've rebuilt our mobile apps from the ground up. Quick show of hands, how many people have downloaded the booj mobile app? All right, that's great. Good job, guys. So you will be getting, if you notice, you'll go into the App Store. You can do it at the end of this meeting or now if you want, whenever. There'll be an update for you. If you go ahead and update the app, it will have all the features that I'm going to be walking you guys through today. So super excited. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, I'm going to walk you through the goal today is to walk you through the new apps, talk a little bit about our history and how we got here, and then kind of show you some of the highlights of the new features that we built into this app. And more importantly, I want to make sure that everybody leaves here with something that either helps save them time or makes them more money. So that's my goal. So I'll try to, at key points, I'll try to give you guys, hey, good time to take notes. This might save you some time, or this might make you some money. So a little bit about us. So we're the company behind the Enterprise Network. We have the fortune to be able to work with these great independent companies around the country. We power all their technology, from their company websites, agent websites, individual property websites, mobile apps, you name it. We have about 20,000 agents in our network, so we have a lot of agents that we work with across the country. You guys are the heart and soul of what we do. I joke all the time that we're good geeks, but we don't sell real estate, right? We have to tap in and listen to you guys. So one of the reasons why I spend so much time on the road is so that I can be here and be in front of you guys, showing you tools, getting feedback, talking to agents, so that we can continue to advance our products. So this app that I'm going to show you guys today is unique to you guys. It has a ton of features that were built in from feedback specifically that we've received over the years from you guys, a lot of feedback from NPD over the years, but from all these great companies as well. So that talks a little bit about our background and who we power, a little bit about mobile apps. So about 2008, I remember having a meeting where Ido came into the meeting and he said, listen, apps are the future. And there was a lot of discussion at the time, was really mobile apps going to be that big of a deal? Was it all going to be mobile web? You know, what was the advantages of building mobile apps versus just putting all your effort into building the best mobile website? You know, we really made a decision at that point, and a lot of the companies that were in the space made different decisions. A lot of them made a decision to outsource this technology and have somebody else build it because it was new technology. It was built on a whole new type of code base, so your programmers that you had probably couldn't code in this new language, so you had to rethink everything you were doing. And this was a bold step. We decided to build and launch our own mobile apps. At the time, we didn't even have, none of our developers, of the developers that we had, even knew any of these languages. So we said, what are we going to do? So we went to the local college. We found a couple kids that were about 18 years old. They weren't even old enough to be able to go out and have a beer with them. But these kids were, I mean, absolutely driven. And they wanted to build mobile apps, and mobile apps were new and cutting edge. So we put together a small team, and we locked them in a room. And coming out of that, we launched our first mobile app, and it went through a lot of iterations over the years. You can see way back when on the far left there, where you landed on a screen, and looks very much like an MLS, like a website. Put information. Key thing is, we realized right away that the consumer didn't want those splash pages. They wanted to go directly onto a map. And we were the very first company from a mobile app standpoint, before Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, any of them, to put consumers directly on the map, to geolocate where they were, and start to show properties around there. So we were the first in this space to be able to release that, and I think that that really kind of drove us into this into the mobile app world. We were also one of the first to start showing saved searches and information from their account area on the far right here. And in pure booj fashion, what we did then is we started tracking all the data. So we released this first app, and we literally, every time somebody clicks on a link, does anything in the app, we record it behind the scenes, and then we scour through that data to see how are people using the apps, where are they clicking, and from there we started integrating and building upon this first release. We also did the same, so we launched that app in 2011. In 2013, we started watching our traffic, and we noticed that we were reaching a very critical point in our network. So the 20,000 agents that we manage their digital presence online, we started noticing that their traffic from mobile devices was skyrocketing. And we were starting to see that it wasn't going to be very long before we had what we call the mobile tipping point. And I know the AdWords guys talked about it a little bit today, over 50% of the traffic. We noticed this in 2013 and really made a big push, again, to continue to update our apps and everything, because we had a prediction that in March of 2015 our network would cross over and there would be more traffic coming from the mobile web than there was the wired web. And it did. It happened exactly in March of 2015. And that was a big day for us, because we knew that at that time that all the effort and all the information that we had put, heart and soul, we had put into building these apps, we were at the right point in time, because that's where the consumer was. And also, I believe that's where the agents are. You guys are out in the field all the time. You don't necessarily have time to always pull out your laptop and be able to get information in real time. And consumers want information. Not only do they want it, they almost expect information in real time. We joke all the time, what's the problem with instant gratification in our society? It takes
not quick enough.
Yeah, it takes way too long. So exactly. So people want information, they want it now. And so this was a big deal. We continue to monitor this. I would say over 60% of our traffic now comes from the mobile web versus the wired web, and it's only going higher and higher. So in this particular pillar, for the tools that we launch for you guys and for the consumers, we need to make sure that this the experience that you have on the mobile apps is second to none. So with that, so we launched in 2011. We realized about 2015, 2016, we needed to rebuild our mobile app suite from the ground up. There was a lot of newer technology was out there. Apps were definitely winning the game. There was new tools that you could program with, both for Android and iOS. And we wanted to be on that cutting edge and build a new platform that was built from the ground up with all the latest technology. So we've been working on this app behind the scenes for about 2.5 years. There's been a ton of work. This app is not only for the for the Apple iOS, but also Google and Android as well, and a native iPad app with this. And so everything was built from the ground up to really provide an experience for the consumer and for you guys to be able to integrate closer together. And so what I'm going to talk to you guys about is what we learned over the last couple of years and what new things we built into this app. So when we launched our first app, like I said, we started collecting data. We also are big scientific data-driven geeks, really, when it comes to it, because we think that if we have the best data, we can make the best decisions. So we pull consumers in all the time. This product that you're seeing on the far left here is a product called Toby technology. I travel with Toby quite a bit. I didn't bring with me on this trip, but this particular monitor allows me to put consumers in front of a monitor, have them perform certain activities, and I can track their eye movements. And I can see where they're looking and where they're not looking, and where the higher the areas are, these heat maps, shows me where people are actually drilling in and looking. So we can do that not only on a desktop, but we can do this on an iPhone too, or a phone. Because the way somebody interacts with their phone is totally different than how they interact with a website. So when we're building it, we can't just say, oh, we build websites, so now we're going to build mobile apps. They're two different platforms. The way the gestures of how you swipe things, how you look at information, how you click on it, where you expect to find information, completely unique in the app world. So we track all this data, we put consumers through this so that we can see. If we have a button here, why did we put that button there, right? Well, statistically, data shows us that if I put the search button in a certain area, I have more eyeballs that are going to see that than not. And we'll put agents through these tests. We do all kinds of cool things behind the scenes. And the idea from that is we can see how to build things, but then this also allows us to build features. Because we're seeing where their eyes are looking, we're seeing what they're wanting as they go through it. This allows us to do what we call iterative design. So we release a product, and in these day and age, when you release a product, that's when the game starts. We are constantly, I mean, there's updates going to be coming out on this app, and there's things that we're working behind and looking at on a daily basis to keep updating this information, because you're only as good as your latest release, right? So we got to collect data, we got to collect a lot of data, and then we got to build the best tools out there, and we have to be fast. So that's why it was important for us to rebuild these apps from the ground up. Some of the major features that we have in the new app, we redid the search options from the ground up, and what we've done is we've made it so that we're using a technology that allows us, if we update a search field on your website, it automatically pushes out to your mobile app. So you don't have to do two separate updates to the code base. This allows us to really build an amazing search experience on the website, but also have that carried over to the mobile apps as well. So you're going to notice, and as I walk you through this today, you're going to see that the search options are completely rebuilt from the ground up. We're using the latest mapping technology and geolocation of properties so that we can geolocate them and make sure that we have the most accurate geolocation available. We also, obviously, we know where you're at with your phone. That's a secret that the app, and one thing about apps is it definitely knows exactly where you're at, and then we can start showing properties around you. So I'm going to show you guys that today. In this new map, or in this new app, we put a lot of neighborhood and school boundaries in here. So this is really where this app is different from the Zillows and the Redfins and those out there. We had people at NPD helping us actually, looking at neighborhoods, drawing neighborhoods, building this neighborhood information out. We're going to continue to add more neighborhoods and do more stuff within the app, but we'll actually be able to show the boundaries of specific neighborhoods and also all the school boundaries. So how cool, right? I can select a specific school district, I can select a specific school, and they'll show me what the boundary of that school is. So I can look for properties just within that bounded area. I could also do a saved search in that area and get alert notifications and push notifications to me. So really excited about this. And this is where a lot of the apps these days, will have similar functionality, where we realize we can differentiate ourselves and make the experience better for you guys, is to make this as hyper-local as possible. The more data we can provide that's unique to Omaha and your marketplace, not only Omaha, but Iowa, any market area that you're in, provide as much data as we can to make that consumer experience unique so that they feel special when they're working with you, and that's the critical piece. So that's boundaries. We also have a neighborhood and school data in there. So we have all the data on different schools. So what's their math test? What's their student to teacher ratio? How they rank in the state? What's their overall grade? I mean, more information than you can imagine. I'm going to walk you guys through this. Super cool. You're also going to be able to get neighborhood data. So you'll be able to see kind of what do the demographics look like in that neighborhood, right? So I'll show you all the again, what we're trying to do is go as deep as possible to try to get as much information as we can at a local level that really differentiates you guys from the other companies out there in the marketplace. Drive time data. So we work with a company called INRIX, and this is a really interesting company. INRIX was very smart in the fact that years ago they cut deals with UPS, FedEx, you name it, all the big delivery companies, and they put sensors on their trucks. And what they did is they collected data so that during different times of the day, between different points, we knew where they were driving because we knew the locations that they were dropping stuff off. Well, we didn't, but INRIX did. And they start tracking, at 8 a.m. if you leave this building and you have your next drop off at somewhere else, how long does it take at 8 a.m. to get to that particular location? They did such a good job of collecting all this data that Google now has partnered with them and is pulling all their data into Google. So now what they've done is they've crowdsourced all this information so they can see if you have a particular address, and let's say this is where I work and this is where my kid goes to school, I want to be able to live, I don't want to commute more than 20 minutes. So it'll actually take my location, draw a boundary around me and say statistically based on the data that they collected, this is what your commute time looks and this is where you can live in this bounded area and still be able to get there in about 20 minutes. And then what we can do is on every property that you're looking at, it'll tell you, hey, this is how far I am from my work, this is how far I am from my kid's school, all the information so that you can see and show the consumer, if you want to have a lifestyle and be close to getting home and getting to your kid's school and everything else, this property really meets your needs. Okay? Really cool stuff. Agent branding. So one of the more important things that we've built since day one was the ability for you guys to be able to send your app to a customer and have them download a branded personal experience for you. That means that every single listing in the database, in IDX, and everything is branded to you. So if that customer has a question, they can contact you, right? So think about this. What's more personable than your phone these days, right? I see people, you take away anything, but if you take away their phone, and they're gonna start shaking in about 15 minutes, right? So it's very personable to be able to, so think about this. If those of you that have been through Ninja, and we talk about staying in flow, right, and staying in touch with your customers, what a better way than if you had real estate and your app for every customer that you ever did business with over the years had your app on their phone and could reach out at any given time and contact you at any given point. Kind of a big deal, right? That's the way that we want to be thinking when we're looking at our databases and thinking about how we move forward in this world. We talked a little bit about, with Drive Time, we talked a little bit about being able to put in your key places. So you'll be able to put in all the places that are important to you. Where you work, where your kids go to school, where your wife works, so that you can really kind of drill in and see which properties are around where you want to build. The other thing is ability to hide properties. This was an interesting one that kind of bubbled up from the agent community. And the agent said, listen, consumers, if they've gone through a due diligence process, they've looked at this property and kicked the tires, done everything they can, and it's just not going to work out. They don't want to see this property every single time they're searching in this area. So the ability to be able to hide a property, right? So that you can hide a specific property so it doesn't come up in your searches. This was one I recommend directly from our agent community. And then push notifications. All of us, how many of you have the Facebook app on your phone? Show of hands. All right. So if you do, you probably get push notifications when people add photos and do different things. We're bringing that same technology to the real estate space where consumers can go in now and on a saved search and say, hey, I want to get a push notification when there's new listings hit the market, when there's price reductions, when this property or when anything in this particular area has an open house, let me know that there's an open house in that area. So as a consumer, I can get all this information, and you as an agent can also get all this information while you're on the go. So this is really critical. I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff today. Account integration. So I think one of the most important things is the ability for if a consumer saves a favorite property on their on the website, they expect when they open up the mobile app that favorite property is there. It has to all sync. Can you imagine if on Facebook you became a friend with somebody on Facebook, but then when you open up the mobile app, you have to then go be a friend again? That people would freak out, right? It needs to be all integrated and synced. So the nice thing about this system is if I add a favorite property on my website, on your personal website through NPD, anywhere I add it, if I have the mobile app, it's also available for me with the mobile app. The other thing is, as an agent, you can also, through the CRM, you can add favorite properties for a customer. So add, hey, here's a property we should go see on Sunday. And then if they have the mobile app, it'll alert them in their mobile app that they have new properties that they should look at that you've added, right? Really cool. I'm going to talk a little bit about augmented reality. So there's a lot of apps out there that really tout that, hey, if you're standing in front of the home, you can take a picture of that home. That's a little bit old technology these days because realistically, we know you're standing in front of that home because we know where that phone is, right? So you can click on an augmented reality button, view, and literally scan the neighborhood, and it'll show you all the properties that are popping up in real time. It's really, really cool. This uses some of the latest technology, so really excited to show you. And there's a lot more. We probably won't get to every single little thing, all the nuances today, because it's been kind of rebuilt from the ground up. But I really think you'll see the difference in this app when we get to it. Again, the NPD difference, the boundaries, the areas, the communities that we've drawn. I'm going to show you guys how to be able to pull that data up. But this is what's going to make our app different from the other apps in the marketplace, because it's really been hyper-personalized to this local marketplace. We talked about the ecosystem and how everything communicates and how important that is, because the consumer does not want a disjuncted communication. They don't want to be able to add favorites and save searches in one area, then download the mobile app and they got to do it all over again. They want to be able to have all that sync. So that's really important. I'm going to hit on that throughout today's presentation. The mobile search experience, so from how it views on the map to how they actually do the searches and how they actually view properties, has all been changed, all using scientific data and a ton of consumer research built into how people actually navigate through this app. We built in a bunch of local data and local scores, and I'll show you this on the live, but I just want to talk to why we did this. So consumers expect when I pull up a property, they want to see what's the what's the walkability in that area. And it's a little hard to see on this monitor, but what's the bikeability? What's the drivability? What are the area scores when it comes to fine dining, bars, clubs, different lifestyle choices that they may want to make? What are the schools? So here's all the the schools in Miller Public School District. You can see elementary schools, you can see high schools, you can see middle schools. I'm going to walk you guys through that. Some data on how many days of sunshine and information there. If somebody's relocating to the area, they may want to know that information. So all of this was built with significant data behind it. Again, the account area integration, so I just can't drive this home enough. The ability for the consumer, if I'm on your personal website, on NPD's website, or on the mobile app, anywhere I add something, it all syncs together. That's the expectation. The bar has been set at that level throughout all of technology these days. Pretty much things need to communicate. Consumer doesn't know how it does it, they just want it to do it, okay? Agent branded apps. So a few things I said, I try to save you some time today and I help you make some money. So a couple things I want to say here. In your signatures, on all your email signatures, you should have a link that says download my mobile app with a link. Somebody gets an email, they open it on their mobile phone, they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to have that mobile app. I click on it, I download it, that helps, right? The other thing you want to have is you want to have your branded app link that you can text to somebody at a really quick thing. What I tell people all the time is a quick hint, we'll be getting you out all the links to how you can download your app. Set up a contact in your phone called mobile app download, right? And all you have to do is pull that contact up at any time and then email that to somebody. They download that particular link and then bam, they have your branded app. Really, really important. Know how to really quickly, if you're in an open house and somebody walks in and says, yeah, I'm just starting to look in this neighborhood, but it's been, I don't know what we're doing yet, maybe a few months, you say, you know what, I tell you what, I have a mobile app that will really help you with this experience. It's been branded for this local area. Do you mind if I send it to you? No, go ahead. You want to be able to send it to them in real time, right? You send it to them, they download. Now your information, your contact information is on their phone. This is the modern day business cards, right? Much more powerful than handing them a business card. Get access to their phone. Get your app branded to you on their phone so they can contact you at any time. Critical. So I have a video I'm going to show you. And when you guys watch this video, this is what the trends that people are saying that personalization and how it's really impacting our world, and as marketers, how we should be thinking about personalization. And if you think about it, I'm going to make sure I have my volume up here. If I'm working with, let's say I've interviewed a couple agents, and one agent gives me a branded, says, hey, here's my mobile app, branded to me, every property in the marketplace is available here, right? You can get all the updates, price reductions, everything, and I'm only one click away at any moment to be able to reach me. And the other agent doesn't say this. Well, if I'm like busy and I really want to be able to get information on the go, that could be the difference between me working with you and working with somebody else, okay? So when you think about your marketing, think about personalization and how you can personalize that experience, because it's going to help you win more business. So here's a little short video I have for you.
Dale Carnegie said, a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest, most important sound in any language. And today, consumers increasingly expect brands to speak directly to them. 79% of consumers will only engage in an offer from a brand if it has been personalized to reflect their previous brand engagements. 51% of consumers expect that by 2020, companies will anticipate their needs and make relevant suggestions before contacting them. Consumers are tired of being treated like a number. They like to be recognized for who they are, their purpose in life, their affinities, and their accomplishments. When done right, personalization anticipates what customers want. The result is an enhanced customer experience and increased loyalty and engagement. Personalization can reduce acquisition costs by as much as 50%, increase revenues by 5 to 15%, and the efficiency of marketing spend by 10 to 30%. Today's customers demand communications tailored to who they are. The one-to-many approach no longer works, especially in industries that require building trust and long-term relationships. Personalizing your message is key.
So think about this, guys. As you start spending marketing dollars and do different things, what could be an amazing goal, right? What if you said, hey, I have 200 people in my sphere of influence, right, that I have in my database. I want to make sure by the end of the year that 150 of them have my mobile app downloaded on their phone. That would be a great marketing spend. When they're talking about reducing your costs now, you have top of mind awareness, you have space on their phone, you have a communication path that your competitors may not. Somebody's thinking about real estate in the local area, they're driving around, they're like, I wonder what's going on in this neighborhood. They click on your app, and now they start having an experience there. So it takes some elbow grease, but I tell you what, it'll really pay off. We're going to go over the drive time data, but this is how it shows kind of the area that you can see. The augmented reality of how you'll be able to hold up your phone to a specific area and move the camera around and get properties in real time. Push notifications, so the ability to have pushes sent directly to the phone. And one of the other things that we've really listened to your team on is they said, hey, we need some agent-only fields. We need to know when the agent downloads the app, they need to be able to see data that the consumer can't see. So we listened, we got the data in the feed, and we're going to continue to put more data into our apps as we can get it in the fields from the MLS. But we have a whole section now dedicated to agent only. So when you're logged into the app and you're looking up information on a property, there'll be fields that'll be unique to you guys that your consumer sitting right next to you on that same property won't see, because the system recognizes that you're an agent. So that's a big deal. So with that being said, I'm going to take you guys on a live demo. So the scenario here for this demo is I'm a consumer. I've already downloaded the mobile app and I have branded it to an agent. So I'm going to walk you through what that experience looks like as I go through this and as I am looking at this from a consumer standpoint. I'll plug in here. Make sure my name's recognized. All right. So first thing you'll notice, besides me standing in a sunset there, sunrise, is the NPD booj logo. When I click to open up the app, you'll notice what it's going to do is this blue dot down here in this corner is actually showing up exactly where I'm located. So it knows where we're at, knows where the phone's at anyway. And then the ability to be able to start showing properties right around you. Before we just jump in and start looking at this though, I'm going to walk you through, and in this scenario, I've set up an account And I already have my preferred agent, so in this case, Jeff is my preferred agent. So
Do
Jeff,
they
you
put
win.
that in, when you send them the app, do they put in preferred agent? Is that how that works?
So no, so when you send me the link and I download it, it automatically is branded to you. I don't have to
Oh,
do
okay.
anything. But if I already have the app downloaded, let's say I downloaded it before and I didn't have an agent I was working with, I can go in and select my agent and then brand it from the app. And I'll show you this in a second. So Jeff's my guy. So I've already set up a situation with Jeff. If I want to contact him, his phone number's right up here. I can click on it and it'll dial out. If I want to go in and see now what favorites have I saved. So here's all the favorites that I've saved, and I've created some categories. So as a consumer, I can create categories for myself. As an agent from your CRM, you can create categories for an agent that says, hey, these are the top 5 properties I think we should see on Saturday. You could create that category, save properties into that. They have the mobile app. They open it up. All those properties are available for them right there, right? You take the time to understand how to do that key point. It can save you a ton of time and it can help you make a lot of money. So I can go through here. I can see properties I want to see on Sunday. Down here at the bottom, I've also put together a couple of other categories. My favorite properties, which I can click on, which will open up and show me which ones that, of all the properties, these are the ones I've kind of narrowed it down to. And then new on the market that I want to research. These are new ones that have just come onto the market that I want to take a look at.
And we're set to them, like, automatically?
Actually, these are ones that I've saved
Okay.
in this scenario, or my agent has saved it for me. So I've actually been looking around, and I've actually made the ability to save these properties down, right? So these are ones that I want to take a look. But out of all the properties, I've narrowed it down to 2 are my favorite right now. So that's a good thing, right? So as I go through this, I can see, and I can also add more favorite properties, which I'll show you guys in a second. Save searches. So let's say I've set up a prime location that I want to look at, and maybe a second market that I'm kind of interested in. Okay. So I want, and this could also be where I want to live versus where I want to have investment properties. So if you have an investor you work with who maybe is buying properties in a certain area, they could have their prime location if they want to live, and they could have a section area set up for investments, however that works. I can click on any of these, so my prime location, it'll move and happens to be right in this area. This is the prime location that I'm looking in. You can see that this was actually drawn in areas, so other properties fell out because it wasn't in my area. And these are actually, the red properties here are ones that I've actually favorited, so I can actually see what's going on here. So going back to my menu, I also have a recently viewed area. So if I click on, so this is going to be all the properties that I've recently viewed. How many times have you viewed a property or had a customer view a property and then they can't seem to find that property, right? Yeah. So you could say, hey, did you look at it on the mobile app? Go to the menu, click on recently viewed, and it's going to show you all the properties you recently viewed. Now, if that market was taken off the market or something, that's a separate deal. But if they viewed it and still have it, it'll be available for them in their recently viewed. So that'll save a ton of time. I'll also save you guys some time as well.
If the status changes on it, will it still show up though?
You'll still show up as if you recently viewed it. But you can also then set up, like, I'll show you in a sec here, for your favorited properties, for your saved searches, you can say, notify me if property status changes. So if I want, price reduction, if I want different things, I can get notifications as soon as that happens to any properties that I've favorited or any saved searches that I have set up. So I'll show you exactly how to do that in just 2 seconds here. So I also have hidden properties. So if I hide properties, I don't have any hidden properties right now, but if I have hidden properties, I can go in and see which ones I've hidden, and then I can unhide them if I want to unhide them for some reason. I can go into my places, and this is kind of a big deal. Let's say I wanted to, see, this is where I work. This is my kids' elementary school that they go to. Let's say I wanted to add my wife's work. So I could put wife's work, and I have an address here. 6523 Western Avenue. Let's see if it recognizes one. She works.
Las Vegas.
There you go. And so now I put, yeah, exactly, she works in Vegas. So now I put my wife's work, this is where she works. Now let's say I want to put I want to set some drive time up on this. And I know she doesn't want to commute more than 20 minutes to work. And I know that she leaves a little bit earlier than I do, so she leaves at 8 a.m. So I'm gonna save this now. So now I have all the important areas, and this will come back in my demo here in just a second. But I have my work, I have my kids' elementary school, and I have where my wife's work is. And I want to be able to see where each of these scenarios and how far they are from around where the properties that I'm looking at. So I'll walk you guys through that, and that'll come back in just a second. Let's say I want to get more information about Jeff. I can click here. This gives me all the information about Jeff. If I want to contact Jeff, I can hit contact. Opens up a form. I can email Jeff right away. But let's say I want to add Jeff to my contacts. I can just hit add contacts, and now I can save him right into my database. So why not? If you ask somebody to download the app at an open house, just say, hey, go down there, click on About, hit add to contacts, and all my contact information is in your phone. Real simple, right? Those 2 or 3 steps will save you time and help you make more money because now your contact information is in their phone. Okay, moving down. I have been from my account area, so I can see like my general information, phone numbers, address, change my password, all that fun stuff. Emails and alerts. This is really, really important. So these are categories that I've set up for favorite properties. So I have Sunday properties, my favorite properties, and new on the market. So let's go look at Sunday properties. So now what I've said in this scenario is I want a push notification to my cell phone daily anytime that I add a favorite property in that category for price change, recently sold, or open houses. So if anything changes in this property in there, I want it to push to me. So if I have a property I'm looking at and it gets a price reduction, I want to know right now because I want to call you and I want to hopefully buy this particular property, right? So those are things that I'm looking at that are really important for me from a consumer. If I want to see on my favorite properties, again, it's important for me, you know what, I want to know price change. I want to know if any of them sold, and I want to know if any of them are having an open house because I want to go check those out. So any properties that I save into this category, this is the communication that I want. Now I also have saved searches set up here. So these are my primary market and my secondary market. So for my primary market, I want to get as much notifications as possible. So for push notifications to the app, I want daily, I want recently sold, just listed, new price, or back on the market for any of those properties. So if it goes off the market and it comes back, I want to be notified. Email notification, I just want to know if it's sold or just listed properties in a particular area. That's all I'm looking for. But push notifications, I want to get pushed to me right away on new prices or new things that are going on in that particular area. So you can really customize what you're doing from a notification standpoint, from a consumer standpoint. I can customize what is going on. So in my secondary market, I haven't set anything up yet. So this is a good example. So I want push notifications. In this area that I've set up, I want recently sold, I want just listed, I want new prices, I want back on market, I want open houses. Now for email, I want to get emails as well. Oh, sorry. So frequency, I'm going to change to daily. And then I want to, you know what, for the email, I want to see just listed and new prices. That'll give me enough information there. So now, for that particular search, I've just customized everything that I want and how I'm going to be communicated with. Push notifications through the app and also emails. So I've done it in one area. Question?
With the open houses, is that just whatever is pulled from the multiple listing service that they input, or is this other sources or just NPD or what?
So this is all data from the MLS. So this will show any property in the MLS. If they have an open house coming up, it'll push to me that if I draw a boundary, which I'll show you in a sec, and I save that boundary, if there's an open house in that area that meets my criteria, I'm going to know that I'm going to get a push notification.
I'd give you a suggestion for future times, and that would be to include like the newspaper and stuff, because you wouldn't believe the number of agents that don't go in and plug in their open houses into the MLS.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's good feedback.
Which is silly because it's free
Yep.
information and it appears right on the listing. I do it all, I
It's
see it all
really
the
easy,
time.
that's one of the things I know how to do.
All right, so now I've kind of gone through a couple other things that our offices, it'll show all the MP Dodge offices so you can see if you're meeting a consumer in an office and they need directions or phone number to that, they can pull up their app and get any of that information, which is always critical.
Where are you getting all these navigation options? Because I've got it here and all I see on mine is filter, save, search.
In the menu in the upper
All right,
left-hand
and
corner,
then that gives you, oh.
Yep.
Okay.
and that has all the areas that I just went through.
Okay.
Okay, so when I land on the map, it first of all notifies where I'm at, right? Couple things that are unique to this app in the lower right-hand corner, this draw tool. Let's say I want to draw in this particular. Actually, let me give you a better area. I'm going to go up here. Now, let's say I want to live around this area. Sorry, guys, I moved too fast. Okay, so this is the area that I want to be. So I can draw this out. Once I've drawn this particular area, there's a couple things I can do. I can go to a list view here and actually see what the list looks like in this area. I can go back to map, and let's say I want to save this search, and I'm going to call this great location. Now that I've saved this particular search, tells me that it's successfully done it, I can now go into my settings and say I want notifications in here of anything that's new on the market, open houses, any of this stuff, and I can get it pushed to me in this particular area. So once I've saved that, I can remove this and I can go about my searching. A couple other things, you'll notice under the menu you have a filters option. If I click on that, this is really where you can drill down and go as deep as you want to customize your particular experience. You have all the property types such as residential, rental, multifamily, farm, land, subtype, style, min price, max price, beds, baths, garage spaces that you want. Notice it's all built for touch. So if I just wanted to, I just go back there and hit it to hit the number. Garage types, you can really get specific. So go through here, play with this. I mean, when you look at exterior, interior, utilities, additional details, search filters, each one of these are expandable. If we update the website, it automatically pushes down to the app. So it's all connected in that ecosystem.
John,
Yep.
can you, where it's asking for bedrooms, can you touch more than one, or does it only give you the option of one?
I believe it only gives you the option of one for right now.
Like you might want to say 2 or 3 bedrooms, or 3 or 4 bedrooms.
Well, that's why you can put the minimum.
Oh, yeah, so I'm sorry, I got it.
There's minimum max.
And there's min and max.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got it right there, sorry, guys. So you can do 3, 2, 5 in this scenario,
Okay.
okay? And that works the same for baths, and that works the same for garage spaces. Okay? So now, when I come back here to the map, a couple other things that I can do. Let's say I start doing a quick search. Once I start typing it in, it already knows any saved searches that I've done, and it also has all my places that I've set up. So let's say that I want to see work, right? And I want to just in general see what is my parameter for work look like for me. So the parameters that I have set up right now around work, I'm probably not going to find a lot of properties that meet my 10-minute commute. Sorry, it took a second to load. But these are all the properties that would meet my commute time within my marketplace. So now I can start drilling into this area and start looking and seeing which properties do I actually want to be able to do. Pretty awesome, right? But let's dig a little deeper. Let's say in this scenario, I want to just do a search. So I want to look for Old Town Millard. So this is an idea of how we've actually done the boundaries. So that's the boundary for Old Town Millard, and there's properties that are showing up in that particular area. How awesome is that, guys?
That's pretty good.
You're not going to see that on on the Zillows of the world and this, because this is where we're taking data and customizing it down to your local marketplace. So this is why you'll get access. So let's say you want to look at a school district, right? So if I go back to Millard, and let's say that I want to look around Central Middle School. So here, again, this is the boundary for Central Middle School, and it'll actually show the properties. So the Wi-Fi in here is a little bit, so it's taking a second to load. But now this is showing just this particular school and just the properties in that area. So if I wanted to save this search now, I could hit save, type this in as Central Millard School, and then just look for properties in that particular area. It's pretty powerful, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So you can now, as you go through this process, let's say it's important for me I want to know what restaurants are around this area. If I want to go to, I want to live around here, I want to know what do the restaurants look like, right? So I'll hit there. Now it's going to go out, and what it's going to do is it's going to process some data, and then it's going to start showing me restaurants here on the map. I may have to zoom out here a little bit. I think it's been a little slow with the connection, but it'll start showing icons, and they'll show up here in a second. And you can actually click on those icons and get information on different food and drink establishments, bars, all kinds of. Here, there. They started to add right here. So here's the Summer Kitchen Cafe. Over here is, a Distillers. Over here is Therapy Bar and Grill. So if you need some therapy, that's where you go.
I didn't know about
So that's great, right? So you can really dig into that information. So now I want to show you what does it look like on a property. So I'm going to go back to menu. I'm going to go to my recently viewed. I'm going to pull up a specific property. Now as I go down, you'll see I've already saved this one as a favorite. If it wasn't saved as a favorite, it would be, that heart would be open. Let's say I want to share this property with somebody. 2 icons over, or if I want to hide it, I can hit hide, which is the next one. But let's say somebody says, hey, can you send me a link to that property? You can click this. All right, just a second. You can click this, and it'll pull up so if I want to then just hit messages, I can hit message, and then I can type into anybody that I want to there and send them a text message to that in that particular link. So I promise you I'd save you some time. That'll save you time.
Great.
So as you go down, let's say I want to see all the photos, right? So if I come here, if I want to change the landscape here, and I want to go through all the photos, I can literally just slide through all the images. And look how fast all of this loads, right?
Wow.
So just really good access to data. If I want to go into the full details, I can come down, I can see get all the information that I want. This is all pulled from the MLS in real time, so if there's any updates in the MLS, it's going to update right here.
On the map, what do the little green circles signify?
So green circles, that's a cluster. So that means there's multiple properties in that area. So at the view level that you're at, we don't want to try to load all the properties because it would blow they couldn't see them all. So we'll show, hey, there's a circle here and here's 4 properties. If you drill into that area, you'll see those 4 properties.
So if we send them that text to that specific property from our phone, they don't need the app to find it. It goes right to our website.
Yep.
But then to get them to download the app or coax them into doing it somehow,
Yep.
is there a video of kind of the benefit, what you're doing, explaining to us that is easy for our clients to maybe say, oh wow, now I see why I should do this app or download it, or is it something we could voice over ourselves? If you had a slide.
Yeah, so we'll be building some training material for you. That's one of the things as we're getting ready to roll this out, we'll be talking to Jody Webb about, is how do we build some videos and different things that we can help you guys with this kind of rollout. But there'll be stuff like that and different areas to be able to direct them to account benefits page, which we already have. Like why would you want an account? Why would you want to download the mobile app? All that stuff. You'll have all that information.
We do have that now?
Yes. Yeah.
There's marketing material as well in front.
Question, did Jeff show up because he's your agent or because he's the listing agent?
Because Jeff is my agent. So every single property in the MLS, Jeff is going to show up on as the agent. So as I come down, I can contact, because Jeff's my agent. I'm working with Jeff on everything.
Okay, so if we're using this for ourselves on the field, can we find the listing agent?
Yes, you can. And I'll show you in a second here. I'll log out and log in as an agent, and I'll show you what it looks like from an agent.
One of the things the agent can do is seek and get the client's permission to download the app for them.
Yes.
It doesn't take very long.
No.
And if you hand me your phone, I can download this for you in just a few minutes.
Oh, so you have to have their phone.
And you download the app for them at a meeting when you're with them. And then you can tutor them yourself about how to use it.
Is there a text?
And make yourself the agent.
A text you just send them and say, hit this button and it'll download it on
Yeah,
that.
you could do that as well. You could send them a text.
Or you could actually physically do it.
Give me your.
Just hand me your phone, I'll do it for you.
I don't like asking.
Googly eyes, that's
All right, so let's
Depends on the
Get a brand new version of your app.
yeah, so probably some people will hand you their phone, which that'd be great, but let's assume that you just want to send them a text. Scenario, I meet them at an open house, and they say, hey, let me send you my text.
I'm going to send that to
Yeah. So one of the things is, like a scenario is here, I meet you at an open house, and you say, hey, I'd love to get a link. Here, let me send you a link to my app. You can text them that. When they click on it and download it, it's branded to you. And we'll show you how to be able to have those links. So as I move down here on the details, I can call Jeff at any time. If I want to get more information on Jeff, I can click it. If I click the call, it's going to ask me to call him right there, right? It's nice. If I go down, if I want to add notes on this property, I can hit edit, and I can add notes specifically to that property, which then would sync back up to CRM and notify you guys. As I go down, check this out. This is really cool. So if I look at work, my work, the elementary school, and my wife's work, these are all the scenarios. So it's 7 minutes from work, from that time, that drive time, to the school's about 15 minutes, and my wife's work's about 2 minutes away. So this house, kind of meets a lot of the criteria and lifestyle that I've set up. And this starts giving them good information, and you can start having these conversations. Hey, I did some research on this using our app. Here's how far this particular property is away from all of your areas that you said are really important to you. That's adding that next level of service and customization. So as I come down, so here's where the location of the property, so I can see the map. I can then see the walkability, the bikeability, drivability. If I want to see area stats, so fine dining, family dining, fast food, bars, clubs, various information. If I want to drill in and see the full stats, this will open up and show you some more demographics in this area. So housing inventory, residential versus commercial, population, all kinds of great stuff, right? Yeah. Families with kids, population by income. I mean, just tons of great data.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Did you say we were going to be automatically sent our customized app, or is it?
So I'll show you, I'll talk to you afterwards on how you can go get it. As I come down here, here's where the schools is. So let's say I want to look at Central High School.
They'll ask.
Yep. So here's a whole profile on Central High School. Grades 9 through 12. Here's the enrollment information, teachers, students, student to teacher ratio. Let's go down here a little bit further. Students per grade. Rankings. Statewide rankings.
Their scores, that's good.
Yep. Average math test scores. Average reading.
Because I look for that, yeah.
So think about this, you're talking to a customer and you're right there at an open house and they say, what are the schools like in this area? Well, let me pull it up. Which one would you like to look at? And they can get all that information right there on your app, right?
I like that.
Put you guys as that local expert. That's what we're trying to do as much as possible through this app. If I go down, let's say I'm new to the area and I wonder what's the area like, what's days of sunshine, right? What's the seasonal temperatures, right? So, and then last but not least, how about the mortgage calculator here, right? So I want to see, and now we give them some basics. They can go in and customize it. So let's say you wanted to sit with them and say, here, you want to mess with the term? Let's say I want to go to a 15-year. Right? It'll recalculate I want to change the percentage that I want to put down. All that information. Yeah, this is an expensive property.
Those taxes are not right.
So as I come down, also if they want to be able to, tie into the mortgage company, they can get some branding there. And then as I dismiss this, I come back and it'll update the information. So we can really get an idea of how this can really be utilized for you guys. One other thing I wanted to do real quick before I open it up to questions is I want to just log out real quick.
Yeah, I want to see how you
and log in as an agent. So,
that was my main. Oh, so right there, you just enter what your email and NPD or whatever.
Yep.
So it's like the same as getting into our regular email.
That's it. The same as you would do to get into the MPD back office, MPD office.
Oh, it's at the office one? Okay.
Yep. So when I log into the app now,
And then it pulls you up.
it looks, and now I'm signed in as Tori, that's me, I'm a fictitious agent in this case. So now when I go back here, and let's say I pull up a specific property, so I pull up property here. Now when I go to the full details, you're going to notice when I come down here, I now have access to agent-only remarks. So Judy Zimmer, Coldwell Banker, the status is pending, has been on the days of market 23. So as we get more fields that can be put into the agent-only, we'll be adding that. That's what we have right now.
Does it have the showing instructions or no?
If they put in showing instructions, I do believe we pull it in.
That would, okay. And then
Yep.
the only other question I have is when you're in it as an agent and you have, let's say you've got 3 people that are actively looking right now using that app, does it send you notifications or only if they say contact a person?
Well, no, so like if, let's say you were looking for properties for a customer, right? You could set up a saved search and name that John Sables, name that Gene Smith, and then have searches set up for each of them in there. You could also set up favorites that you've saved for them, that you want to show them, and pull that up at any time in your app.
Okay.
Can you send it to them?
What's that?
Will it send it to them from their app on the?
Well, if you set them up with a saved search, say in CRM, and you set them up to get alerts, they'll get alerts through that. But if they're, let's say, yeah, they can get push notifications, they can do everything through the app. So, yeah, you can.
How did you sign in as an agent?
Okay, so if I go back here, let's go click on the menu in the upper left-hand corner. And then there should be a sign-in. Let me log out.
Okay, no, did you just use your NP Dodge and all address?
Yep, like you were logging into NP Dodge office.
So however you.
Yeah. I don't get that.
Yep. So it's a lot of cool stuff in here, guys. I could spend another hour walking you through it, but I think that you're really going to get some value out of this new app. It's I hope you got a lot of nice spending time with you, and if you have any feedback, I mean, obviously this is what we live off of, so let us know your feedback and we'll make it better for you.